I'm Shannon.
And I'm Holly, and this is a Girls Gone Curious podcast, where we talk about things that make us curious. So, grab your favorite drink, sit back, and relax because your show is loading. Today's episode includes strong language. This podcast is not suitable for children. Please listen with care. It is time for another round of Reddit stories.
Woo woo. And as always, we start off with, Am I the Asshole?
Correct.
Story number 1. Would I be the asshole for suing my friend when she didn't come to my wedding? Yes.
More info.
I, 25 female, recently got married to my 25 male husband in Bali, Indonesia in January. Oh. It was a destination wedding, but my parents and his parents paid for their own plane tickets and hotel. But we paid for our friends' plane tickets and hotel stays.
Damn.
I know, that's like crazy.
That's crazy. How many friends did you have to pay for?
Each plane ticket was about $2,000 U.S. currency, and hotel was maybe about $150 to $300 for a week. My friend Gemma brought along her newlywed husband John along, but paid for his plane ticket. The problem is that Gemma and John did not show up to my wedding. Gemma took the free plane ticket to Bali and the hotel room, and when I asked her why she didn't show up, she said that since they couldn't afford their own honeymoon, that this was a perfect opportunity, and that Jim decided that he didn't feel like going. I was really hurt by this since Gemma and I have been friends for over 10 years. Would I be the asshole if I took her to small claims court for the money I spent on the plane ticket and hotel? No.
No, like what? How can you take someone, they pay for you, like $2,000 plus another couple hundred for hotel for you to come to their wedding, but instead you use that. They're like, we didn't get a honeymoon, so we're just gonna use this as our honeymoon.
Yeah.
No,
they're the asshole for sure.
Yeah.
We do have an update. I messaged Gemma per multiple comments advising me to invoice her for the plane ticket and hotel room, but I did something a little better. I wanted to get proof so if I had to go to court, it would be easier to win. I messaged her this. Hey, sorry for being so distant, but I just wanted to talk to you about Bali. I'm hurt that you didn't show up to the ceremony. I pulled a lot of strings to ensure that you could come, and then you didn't show up. Did you think I paid for the trip just so you could honeymoon with John? She replied, I've missed you a lot, and I know the trip was for your wedding, but John didn't want to go because he felt like your wedding ruined the illusion of the trip being our honeymoon and that you'd understand. What the fuck?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. What the
No, John can go fuck off.
Yeah, if it was even John, if it wasn't
is she
Gemma
using
doing it?
that as an excuse?
I replied, no, I don't understand. You took advantage of me, and that's not what real friends do. So I'm sending you an invoice of $2,387.53 for the cost of the plane ticket and hotel room. I will give you 30 days, and after that, I will be taking legal action. I received no response, but she's been posting subliminal quotes on Instagram that are along the lines of entitled friends and having snakes in your life.
Oh, hell no.
Thank you all for your verdicts and help. Update part 2, thankfully. I didn't think this could get worse, but here we are. I didn't respond to any of the subliminal messages she posted about me on social media, and I've been very quiet while I've been getting my ducks in a row for the litigation. But this past Friday, she sent me a 3-page audit of financial and emotional contributions from 2015 to present. I wish I was fucking joking. Oh my God. I just read the next sentence. So the audits, she itemized every dinner or lunch we've ever ate together. She estimated $18 per meal.
What the fuck?
Gas money for driving to and from hangouts. A birthday gift from 2017 that she now claims she went into debt for. Time spent emotionally supporting me after my dad passed. Get the fuck. Get the fuck. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I am so pissed. I can't even finish this. I need a minute. Woo. Oh. Yeah. She said she took on the role a grief counselor for me, even though I talked to her on the phone about it once for 30 minutes. And one time she helped me move apartments. She wants to be paid for her labor and emotional distress caused by me threatening litigation. Her grand total, $2,412.09, which is conveniently within $25 of what I invoiced her. She then told me that if we're really keeping score, that I actually owe her $24.56. I think I stared at the document for 10 minutes in silence, in shock, from the audacity, because this bitch is delusional.
Yeah, she fucking is.
To clarify, I have never asked her to cook for me. While I was in college, she did pay for lunches, but when I definitely returned the favor big time once I graduated, I bought her many gifts over the years. I've let her stay at my house several times when she and John argued, and I have also lended a shoulder for her to cry on when she had difficult times in life. But apparently, being a friend is now billable. I decided to give the message a thumbs down because if I respond, I will be extremely disrespectful with the anger I am facing. I cannot wait for these 30 days to be over because I will be suing the fuck out of her. As you should.
Yeah, this just went to a whole nother fucking level.
Who the fuck does this bitch think she is, thinking that she can just... I'm honestly at a loss. Like, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna charge you as a grief counselor because I was there for you when your dad passed. Bitch. Is it Thursday because she's getting throat punched? Fucking, oh my god. Stupid bitch. Okay. There is a final update.
Thank fuck.
Sorry that I haven't updated in a while. I've been trying to get my ducks in a row before I proceeded with everything. While doing that, I was going through photos from Bali and ended up on the Instagram page of a local photographer who took pictures of me and my husband during a sailing excursion we went on. I was scrolling through their page and looking at random groups when I saw a very familiar face. It was Gemma and a man, and it was not John. It was a man I had never seen before. Ooh! What the fuck? What is going on? There were multiple photos. One where they were just sitting down with drinks, one with Gemma and the guy wrapping his arm around her, and one of them kissing. That's when everything clicked. My wedding was the day after everyone landed, which is why I never saw her at all. Not at the hotel, not around town, nothing. I just assumed that she was trying to lie low around town to avoid a confrontation with me. She didn't skip my wedding because John didn't feel like going, or that my wedding ruined the illusion of the trip being their honeymoon. She skipped it because she wasn't there with John, but with another man. After seeing this photo of her and her affair partner, I decided to do my own detective work. I went to her Instagram page and tried to see if I could find the guy's Instagram page in her following list or follower list. Nada. I tried to see if any guy that remotely looked like him was in her likes or comments. Nope. I felt defeated until I remembered about Gemma's small pottery Instagram account, and boom, I found him. Let's say his name is Ryan. Ryan had several photos that were taken in Bali on his page. He even had a photo of himself in the hotel room that I paid for. I was beyond pissed and just wanted to get my money back and just be done with Gemma altogether. On the day of our court date, I told my side, showed the judge the text messages, and explained that I paid for her trip so she could attend my wedding, and she didn't show up. Gemma claimed that the trip was a gift for her new marriage and not contingent on attending. I didn't even have to bring up the fact that she didn't bring John, because the judge didn't buy Gemma's story. I was awarded the full amount back. Gemma walked out of the courtroom without even looking at me. I know she was pissed, and as expected, she went straight to Instagram, and this time, she didn't hold back at all. She started posting about me on her story, calling me a bitch, saying that's why I've... saying that's why I can't have kids, posting photos of me calling me fat, saying that she'll go spit on the grave of my dead grandmother. Just diabolical, mean girl stuff. The last time she brought our drama to social media, I ignored it. But not this time. I know what I did next was stooping to her level, but I don't care.
Fucking do it.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
You already got your money.
Mm-hmm.
You ended the thing. Just fucking do it.
Yeah. I posted the photo of her kissing Ryan on my story and tagged her and John in it. Love it. I captioned it, "Sorry we missed you in Bali. Hope you had fun." Within minutes, she began spamming my phone. She was calling, texting, leaving voicemails, screaming at me, and before I blocked her on everything, I messaged her one last time. I said, "You should have just come to the wedding." Love it. The freaking audacity of Gemma to, oh my, I just can't even.
Yeah.
Your friend pays for this trip for the wedding, not as a gift. Like, it was explicitly for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And this bitch uses it to go cheat on her recent husband because they couldn't afford a honeymoon. Oh.
And the big thing she was saying was, oh, this is going to be the honeymoon and everything. Mm-hmm. She's not even taking the honeymoon.
Right.
Yet.
No. Oh my gosh.
So the comments don't really line up with the updates. I mean, I don't think they really.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the comments are like just talking about
the first part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are saying like, I wouldn't call you an asshole, but on the verge of.
Oh fuck no.
No.
Absolute. What the fuck? The entitlement is unreal. Like.
Yeah, it says, I wouldn't call you an asshole for suing them for essentially stealing your money.
It's not essentially. They literally stole her money.
But is this really something you want to go through? It's a big ordeal. You probably won't win. And whatever mutuals you have are going to choose sides. And you better be prepared to make your case to them. Personally, I would write them off as terrible people and cut them out of your life. Of course,
for you.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not in your financial shoes, so I don't know how crucial that money is for you.
It doesn't matter. It's the whole principle of it. So it looks like there's a bunch of comments, as there should be. And it kind of looks like it was, like, all the comments don't really line up with all the updates that we did. So the OP must have went back and, like, edited the post, yeah. Comment number 1 says, can't believe I'm saying this, but not the asshole. Someone offers to give you a free vacation on the condition that you attend one party during that time, I'd be jumping for that opportunity. To take that free vacation and then no call, no show to your friend's wedding is really shitty behavior on their part. They could have extended their stay if they wanted to treat the trip as their own honeymoon.
Yeah.
Regardless of everything, it's not a free vacation. I mean, I guess you could look at it that way. But you're literally going to celebrate your friend getting married.
Yeah, that's the only reason why she's paying for you,
right,
is to attend your fucking her fucking wedding. Right.
And it is a week long, so you could have literally, like...
You have so much other time. You just have to spend one day at a wedding. Right. Probably not even the whole fucking day.
Right. So you have, like, the day before. There might be a couple events, like, the day before the wedding. Well, no, she said that they got there, and the next day was the wedding.
Yeah.
So...
I don't...
But OP is definitely not the asshole.
No.
Comment number 2. Ask her to repay first, then sue. She is no friend. She used you, not the asshole, which is what...
Pretty much
she did, yeah.
Oh, man, that was a roller coaster.
Yeah. I just cannot believe I mean, I guess I can, but the audacity of her to just... And then to make it look like she's Gemma is the victim and the whole...
Yeah, the whole ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I consoled you when your dad passed for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 30 minutes.
Oh, good. Thanks.
That was like a roller coaster.
Yeah. And the whole, like, tit for tat where she sent her a bill Okay, so how about the OP send her a bill for everything that she's done over the years since they've been a friend? That is the absolute most ridiculous thing I've ever fucking heard.
Well, and the fact that
it's not like it's $50. It's almost $3,000.
Yeah. And to say, oh, I gave you a birthday present, that's how much it is. So I need you to pay that back for me.
Yeah. This is absurd to me.
Birthday gifts aren't supposed to... Any gifts aren't supposed to be paid back.
Yeah.
And...
Wild.
The fucking wedding, paying for the ticket and stuff, that wasn't like a gift. That was just...
Yeah.
Getting you there so you could go to her fucking wedding.
Yeah.
Couldn't even fucking do that.
Wild behavior.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. Getting into Am I the Asshole number 2. Am I the asshole telling my parents to pay me back my college tuition if they want a relationship?
I'm not saying anything because...
Well, the first story you were like, yes.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to say anything on this one.
I was raised by my parents who believe religiously and just culturally in rigid gender rules. Dad should work. Mom should stay home with the kids. I'm an only girl and have 3 brothers.
Ew. That should have been timed better.
Because of their expectation, I'd stay home with the kids. They never valued my education, educational achievements, or emphasized things beyond domestic skills. I'm the second youngest. By the time I was in high school, my 2 older brothers had gone to college of their choice, with my parents fully covering tuition, books, and an off-campus apartment and other living expenses. They eventually did the same for my younger brother. I was told I wasn't allowed to apply for college.
Tell your parents to go fuck off.
I did so in secret and got accepted with a partial scholarship. I didn't tell them I was moving out until the week before I left, with essentially nothing but what a few friends gave me that their parents bought them for college. I took engineering and had to work, take on debt, and struggle. My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child, and they asked to meet up. We were at a park, and they said that they were sorry if they caused me pain, but would like a relationship now. I asked them specifically what they were sorry for. They wouldn't elaborate and just said that they wanted to move forward. I said that wasn't sufficient. In the end, I said they could prove they were sorry by forwarding me the $100K my degree and college expenses were, just like they did for my brothers. My mom busted into tears. My dad said I wasn't being serious and I just left. Since then, I've been getting calls from my brothers telling me I'm being immature and hurtful. I don't think so at all.
Not the asshole.
No. What the fuck?
It's fine if your parents believe that way, but they shouldn't like impose your goddamn beliefs. Goddamn. They shouldn't impose their beliefs onto you. Like, it's fine if they're like, this is what we think or whatever, but
what
you
we
do
believe
you
in,
because this is your life. This is just absurd to me and it actually pisses me off. Like,
and the fact that they paid for
the other kids.
Yeah. But not
just because
her.
She has a vagina and not a penis.
Comment number 1. Not the asshole. That's a generic, sorry you're upset, non-apology. They are just around now because they want to influence the baby.
Yep.
The $100K ask is fair if they have the means to pay it.
Agreed. And it wouldn't even matter if they have the means to pay it. They paid it for the 3 boys. Why can't they pay it for her?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
And I think that's exactly what it is. Now that she's going to have a baby, they're like, oh, okay, so now we can try and brainwash. Yeah. Or be the picture grandparent, where they're there for just a picture and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Comment number 2. Wow. I would typically say that you would be the asshole, because expecting money from family is never a good thing, but I'm making an exception here. No, you're not the asshole. Being singled out like that because you're a woman is gross. And it's terribly unfair that your brothers got a free ride and you didn't for that one fact. Good on you, though, for making your own way in spite of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fucking... I couldn't even imagine doing that to my own kid.
Yeah, that's... I mean, exactly. Being singled out because you're a woman, very gross behavior.
Yeah. I bet their fucking relationship is horrible.
Mm-hmm. If maybe she went no contact after that.
Yeah, well, I was saying the mom and dad.
Oh,
I bet,
yeah.
Oh, I couldn't.
No. Mm-mm.
No.
So not the asshole.
No, definitely not. On a lighter note, this one's lighter, I promise.
Next topic is Today I Fucked Up. Today I fucked up by sending nudes to my employee group chat. Ooh. I would follow it up with like, can you see the mark on this? Does it look like I need to go to the doctor? Whoopsie. Well, I recently started a new job about 5 to 6 months ago, doing some tech work. Trying not to be too specific. Why is that? With that being said, I'm pretty young. 24, definitely the youngest that works there by far. I also mostly work with other men, 30 to 40. We have a group me for the store I work at, which includes the owner, the manager, and 5 to 6 other employees. The previous night, I had been feeling a little frisky and desired to take some pictures, videos for the guy that I was with at the time. No biggie, right?
No biggie.
The next morning, I had work. Go in as normal. Pretty busy day, actually. Noon rolls around, and I needed to post a picture to the group me about an issue I was having with a computer I was working on. I typed what I needed to say. Clicked the camera roll icon, and just as I clicked the picture, a customer came up and started asking me a question. I hit send without thinking and go on about my day. I should also probably say that by this time I was working alone and closing, so no one else was around. The customer who came in kept me pretty busy for 30 to 45 minutes. When they finally left, I went to check my phone and saw I had a bunch of missed calls from my boss. At first, I thought he was just calling me about the question I had. While the phone was ringing, I went back to look at the group me. To my horror, I clicked not just a picture from the night before, but the whole damn video. Nice. My heart dropped instantly when I realized what happened. My boss picked up the phone. He began questioning me about what my intentions were with the video and that he's never had anyone do such a disrespectful act in the company before. I tried to explain, but needless to say, that was my last day working there. LOL, on the bright side, the coworker I had a crush on finally got his attention. Ooh. Edit. Please stop upvoting for the love of God.
So when I was looking at the comments and stuff, they were upvoting and saying, like, if it gets this many upvotes, post a link to the video. And I think she actually did.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Oh, fuck.
Comment number 1. Well, your ex-boss actually watched the entire video. OP response. I'm pretty sure everyone in the group me did. LOL.
I mean, watching the entire fucking video.
Clearly it's not work related.
If you see something like that, like, you just click off it. You don't watch that.
Comment number 2. Worst fear right there. Why I don't take nudes.
No, you gotta take nudes. But, like, once you send it to the right person, you delete them right after.
Right.
Or you put them in, like, in a special folder where they're not in your main fucking camera roll.
Exactly. Exactly. This is for you. You know who you are.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay. That one was definitely lighter than the previous.
Yeah.
Next one is, am I overreacting?
It's been a minute since we did that one.
Yeah. Am I overreacting about these angry texts from my ex? So there's a series of a bunch of text messages, and I'm going to go through them. So, ex. Hi, my name. Hi, so sorry, who is this? It's X name. Just wanted you to have my new number. She put a little thing next to it in parentheses and said, I blocked his old one. We have not communicated in years. So X continues. So I have a few things of yours that I need to send. You were right. I did have your grad ring and a few other expensive pieces and your butterfly dress. Found them all in one of the boxes I've been hauling everywhere. Where should I mail all of it? Don't worry about it. It's been almost a decade, so I wrote all that stuff off forever ago. Donate it or sell it. No worries.
A decade?
A decade. And he
Holy
just decides
shit.
to... So, to be honest with you, I stole it when you kicked me out. You were right. I could never bring myself to sell it because I have felt so guilty, and it's really messed me up mentally all of these years to have done that to you. Is it at all possible for me to get this all back to you? It would make me feel so relieved and like I'm finally moving on away from that person I was.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, I've known you stole it. But I do appreciate your honesty. You can send it to address to a family member's office building where X knows I used to work. Isn't that family member's name's office? Yeah, their mailroom. Address it to me and they'll let me know when it's there. Sorry, that's sketchy to me. It's all really expensive stuff, worth a lot, and this has been bothering me for years. So I feel weird sending it to a mailroom. To be honest.
No. Fucking stalker vibes there.
Yep. Okay, well, then like I said, please just donate it or sell it. And donate the money and consider the matter closed. I'm just glad that you're finally honest about it. Is there not a home address I can send it to? Because I heard you moved. Could I send it there?
So the ex isn't even listening.
No.
To the OP, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, send it here. Address to a P.O. box. That's a P.O. box. Yeah, but they take packages, even larger ones, and it shouldn't be too large anyway. Thanks. Okay, I just feel better sending it to a home address. It would feel safer and more final. It's honestly probably safest sending it to the P.O. box with a smiley face.
Right? Because at least it's going to be there, like,
yeah,
at the P.O. box. Like, it's going to be inside.
Mm-hmm. I'd really feel so much better sending it to a home address. Did you not move? It's not your fucking business.
Right.
If you don't want to send it to either address I gave you, I really have no problem not getting it back. If you want me to get it back for your own peace of mind, send it to either of those. Thanks. Okay, to be honest, I was hoping I could also send you an apology letter too.
Oh my. Yeah, the cool thing is you can put it in with the package and it will get delivered.
Yeah, it'll be in the same delivery. And it has a lot of meaning. I am so proud of you for all you have accomplished, and I feel bad for my past behavior. I know that getting out of your dad's house is a huge new life for you, and I carry guilt that I prevented that. It would mean a lot to me, symbolically, to be able to send you this letter addressed to the new you in your new life, not a P.O. box or a mailroom, but directly to the result of your hard work and creativity. It would mean a lot.
So gross.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'll just be blunt then. I'm not giving you any of that information. I don't want to share that with you. Okay, well, I know for a fact that you moved, and I'm really proud of you, and it would just symbolize so much to me to be able to congratulate you in a normal way and not send things to a PO or mailroom. It's not fucking listening.
Right. It's not on your terms, you piece of shit.
Yeah. And it would be a huge part of my personal recovery to be able to do that. My therapist encouraged me to ask you. It would be a big healing step for me and my sobriety.
Oh, go fucking get bent.
Yeah. I'm really glad you're working on yourself, and I hope you continue. I'm not giving you the info, though. I also highly doubt that your therapist would have told you to ask for my address. Send things or don't to either of those addresses. Your mental health and sobriety are your responsibility. I was being nice, but you pushed it, and this conversation is over.
Good for you.
X's name. You cannot be calling my family. This is harassment. Stop it. No one is giving you my address. I don't want you to have it, and you're validating exactly why I will never trust you. I've already contacted a lawyer and law enforcement. It's in your best interest to stop now. So after she sent that message, she began calling. That's what I'm assuming, because that's what it sounds like. Like, what the fuck?
This is so creepy. Like,
yeah.
Like, I was getting annoyed, and now I'm just like, yeah, you should have personal protection devices with you.
Yeah. We live together. You can't erase the past. I just want your new address, and to be honest, I'm entitled to that.
You can go fuck yourself with a cactus because you're not entitled to anything, bitch.
Yeah. You're punishing me, and I have apologized so much for doing nothing. Show me this 1 ounce of trust, and I will never be your problem again. Fuck no.
Yeah, the ex is literally just showing exactly why what she did was a good thing.
You are being so ridiculous over this. Having someone's home address is not a crime. Everyone in my family has home addresses that can be Googled. It's freedom of information, but not for the spoiled, privileged Duchess. I live on the other side of the goddamn country. Not like I'm going to just swing by and ring your doorbell. But of course, you don't give a shit about how much this means to me. You don't give a single shit about anyone but yourself. You never have. I have a fiance if you even care. Not like I want anything with you if that's what you think. Me and you were together for years. This is what exes do. You don't get to just shut me out. I need your information for so many potential reasons that could arise. This is so fucking irresponsible and careless on your part. What the?
I'm sorry. I have so many. I don't care that there's a fiance, which is probably bullshit. I don't care that it's on the other side of the country, which is probably fucking bullshit. Being an ex doesn't give you a right to a person's future, a person's address, a person's
Phone number?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Just because you were once a part of that person's life doesn't mean that you can still be a part of that person's life. You don't get to have special treatment. I'm sorry. This is just what adults do when relationships end. You have to stay in touch to an extent.
The fuck you don't.
No. You gaslit me into thinking otherwise, but I have yet to witness one relationship where exes were not in each other's life to an appropriate extent.
Bitch, who? Who?
What the fuck? We weren't kindergarten playmates. I lived with you. Our lives are commingled. You don't get to just opt out of that. That's not how adults have to act. You are in your fucking 30s. My sister knows better than this. Stop being a little girl. You need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, I thank fuck she got out of that relationship.
Yeah.
And he's been holding on to this for a decade because he stole it.
And he's just now.
Yeah. No.
No, he wants to.
He probably has a shrine or some shit in his house.
Yeah, no.
Fucking creepy.
So, almost a decade ago, my ex-boyfriend and I had a very contentious breakup. We dated in college and were both in our early mid-20s. We had so many problems with communication, and he had a drug problem. But ultimately, I ended it when I realized that I had never been physically attracted to him and could never bring myself to be. I tried to end things as amicably as possible, and I made the mistake of letting him draw out the breakup in an attempt to be kind. But then he refused to accept that things were over, and I had to kick him out of my house. Without going into too much detail, he behaved in ways that were coercive and aggressive in order to maintain contact with me after the breakup. Do what I could to minimize contact, but he'd act out in ways that forced it. He spun out when he found out I was dating my now husband. He spun out when I changed my name on social media, etc. These went on sporadically for years until it finally stopped. Or at least he stopped successfully making contact. About 5-ish years ago. Then a few days ago, he texted me from a new number. I had his old one blocked. To tell me that he had some of my stuff, he wanted to send it back to me. I was initially kind in my response basically out of fear, because in the past, immediately ignoring or dismissing him would instigate a huge blow-up in one way or another, and he knows the home addresses of some of my family members. But when he admitted that he stole it, I was pleasantly surprised. I'd always known he'd stole it, and I'd asked for him to please send it back many times after we first broke up. But he's always denied it, and been absolutely furious at my cruel accusations. So for him to admit that he stole it made me feel like maybe he was truly in the process of trying to better himself. And I thought that I could cooperate with that as a fellow human being and let him have that closure. I gave him the address of my family member's office building mailroom that was previously known to him as a good place to send those things. As y'all can see, he didn't like that option. I could somewhat understand that since a number of people do have access to that mailroom. So I decided to give him a P.O. box that my mom and I use for her business. And that's about when he started to spin out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I feel like this whole thing was a ploy just to get my new address. I don't even know how he knows I moved or when he found out. I moved a while ago and didn't post it anywhere. But there's no way in hell I'm giving him that information. When I told him definitely that he would not be getting that info, he started a non-stop call, message, all my family and friends whose numbers he could find, and demanded that they give it to him. That's what my last message is in reference to. As you can see, he went on a diatribe about how I'm crazy to not share my info with him, and that it's normal for exes to stay in touch. And a few of my family members have now told me that he has a point, and that I'm being a little entitled to think that I can totally shut a person out of my life, and that it's not really a normal expectation. But my thing is that we were never married, never even engaged, no kids, my pets are mine, we don't have any shared assets, we don't have shared anything.
Just because you dated somebody for an amount of time, regardless of the amount of time, that doesn't mean that they get access to you whenever they want. And it doesn't mean that they have access to you for the rest of their life. That's such fucking crazy thinking.
I'm not in contact with any of my exes.
Same. What the that is fucking weird.
Yeah. It's just weird.
To me, it's fucking weird. And for for the family of the OP to say he has a point, bullshit.
No.
You can go no contact with anybody you fucking want to.
Yeah. I'd be considering what your family thinks.
Right?
I let him keep texting with no response from me in case he said anything that was criminally actionable, because I was planning to report this to the police. He's also started making burner numbers to call repeatedly. But several of my family members kind of sat me down and told me that I was overreacting. They said that if I go to the police, then I would be the one escalating the situation, and that I would be provoking him when all he's doing is venting his frustration via text. And that ultimately this is silly and harmless and should be ignored.
No, absolutely fucking not. If you know anything about true crime, this is going to escalate so much more. This is fucking ridiculous.
He's gonna end up fucking doing something.
Yeah. This is absolutely fucking absurd. What makes these family members think that this piece of shit is entitled to her home address?
I don't understand.
I don't understand that way of thinking at all. And he's escalating.
Yeah, he's continuously messaging her, calling her, making burner phones.
Yeah.
Does it sound like someone familiar?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like someone very familiar.
That is gonna fucking escalate.
That is stalker vibes.
He's gonna
100%.
Somehow he's gonna figure out her address or something if this keeps going on, because one family member is probably just gonna...
Yeah, because he's not just calling her. He's calling and texting all of her family. Yeah. This is absolutely absurd.
Not okay. They agreed that I obviously shouldn't give him my address, but they say that this is just texting calls and just to ignore it until he gets it out of his system. All the family members who he'd called said they don't want to deal with the cops asking them about the situation, and everyone's, except me and my husband's, general consensus is that I should just ignore it totally and do nothing, and that I'm overreacting. I'm not sure what to do here. I don't feel like I'm overreacting, but I also don't want to regret making things worse by doing anything drastic.
Do drastic. Clearly, there is something that is telling you to not give anything to this piece of shit. Follow your gut. Like, clearly, your spidey sense, whatever you want to call it, is telling you danger.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, he says he's across the state, or he's across
the country.
Across the country, and he has a fiance.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything, anyways?
Bull fucking shit.
Yeah.
He's probably
within like 10 minutes of your old address.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, that's probably what he is. He's probably circling around your old address trying to figure out.
Yeah. And probably going to old places that used to go to hang out, or
watching your family's house.
Yeah.
No.
What the fuck? Comment number 1. He is sad and a vile person. This is exactly what police reports are for. If people like this took no for an answer, then none of this would be necessary. Get a fucking restraining order. I don't care if he's fucking says he's across the country. Do something. Make a report before it's too fucking late.
Absolutely.
Even if the police don't do anything about it, at least you have it there.
Right.
Comment number 2. This guy is digging for information harder than a romancer scam, digging you for your PayPal details. How terrifying.
Yeah. It's not okay. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah. So far, there's been one story where it didn't make us angry.
Yeah. I don't think this next one's going to help any.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. Just by reading the title. So the next category is advice. My daughter's principal made her cry and banned my wife from campus for asking for an apology. My daughter, 13, asked her art teacher if she could be her assistant during summer school. Her teacher thought it would be great, but told her it would be up to the principal. My daughter wrote out an email and had her teacher proofread it and got the okay to send it off. She came home really excited about it and read my wife and I the email. We were both impressed by how professional and courteous she had been. Later that night, the principal emailed her back after 10 p.m. In the email, she said that my daughter was inconsiderate and presumptuous, crossing a line of disrespect, because she emailed her as though they were friends and not as though she was a student addressing her superior. She said she would not consider her request and instead would require a second email to apologize to her for the disrespect. My wife and I were absolutely floored. Our daughter came to our room in tears because she thought the email was going to be good news and instead was raked over the coals. The email that our daughter sent was incredibly respectful and had been proofread by a teacher. As angry as what my wife and I were, we decided to keep our calm and try to be reasonable. While I was at work, my wife went to the school to talk with the principal. She called me immediately afterwards in a fit because she had been thrown out of the school. The principal then sent an email to my wife with the account of events, saying it was also being sent to the school attorney. The account was filled to the brim with lies. She said my wife burst into our office and was yelling at her and clapping her hands in her face and wouldn't let her get any words in as she yelled over her. My wife is a very meek and respectful person. She did get angry, and by the end of the conversation, said that she did raise her voice, but only after the principal had. The larger issue in all of this is that it is a charter school that is not under the Board of Education, and the principal is also the superintendent. My wife and I simply wanted an explanation of why that time of night and why that level of harshness to a student who was only trying to reach out to do more. Now we are in an uncomfortable situation we have no interest in being in. How should we proceed? I would be posting that email online.
Yeah.
Show it.
Yeah.
Both the student and the principal's response.
Well, and the thing is, to email after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And then say that the daughter was being very
unprofessional
yeah. And everything. You just fucking messaged after 10 fucking p.m.
Right, to a child. Yeah, no.
How professional is that?
Comment number 1. Reach out to other parents to see if they've had the same experience. They more than likely have. Possibly seek legal counsel and possibly move districts.
Thing is, you shouldn't have to move districts, too.
I think this principal definitely has a power trip complex going on for sure.
Yeah, something.
Comment number 2. Get your kid out of that school. The principal is a douchebag and has no accountability. You can fight the good fight, but it will suck for your daughter, and she's done nothing to deserve it. Sometimes the right thing to do in a shitty situation is bail, and then have lots of conversations with other parents. Yeah, it's hard because
I get not wanting to put your daughter through a whole bunch of, especially if you take it
right
to legal authority.
I would be though.
Yeah.
I would post both of those. I would talk to first and foremost, I would probably have to have someone who is not as quick temper that I do when it comes to my kids. I would have to talk to somebody and be like, look,
this is what's going on.
Yeah,
this is what
because I'm
happened.
about ready to explode.
Yeah.
And then I would legal counsel probably, and then school board. I mean, there's I guess they said there wasn't because it was a charter school.
Yeah.
There is ways to get this done without, going in and turning a desk upside down and
well,
things like that.
The thing is, you just threw one of the parents out of the school, but like, what if that parent has to pick the daughter up from school?
Yeah. I mean, you can go to the news. Like, there's all kinds of avenues that you can go to where you don't necessarily have to take your daughter out of school.
Yeah.
And that would be my first thing is that that's fine that you sent this to your school attorney or whatever. I will also be sending this to my attorney as well as all of the local news stations.
Yeah. You just took that step, and I'm going to take that step as well.
Yep.
Fucking ridiculous.
Agreed.
Next category, wedding shaming.
Uh-oh. Ow.
Why on earth did they pick that song? I don't know why did they.
I don't know either.
I was the plus one at a wedding for one of my husband's colleagues this weekend. It was a full Episcopal ceremony, so the wedding was long, but that wasn't the weird part. We had just finished the dinner and speeches, and the dancing was about to start. The MC announced that the couple would have their first dance, so they got up and their song started playing. The song was Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood.
What? Was that a joke?
I was shocked and looked around. About 30% of the audience looked as shocked as I was. Another 20 had on poker faces, while I would say the other 50% didn't realize what song was playing or didn't care.
Like, is somebody trying to say something to her?
I don't fucking know. Something's happening.
That's so weird.
I asked my husband later if he knew why his colleague had picked that song, and he didn't know. As far as he knew, there was no history of infidelity within the couple. And when they were dancing, they looked completely happy. So yeah, worst first dance ever?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe she's
Very weird.
Maybe she's like warning him.
Mm-hmm. Could be. But that's still like
your first.
I don't know. Like, that's so weird. Like, why would that even be played at a reception period? But as your first dance,
maybe that's the first ever song they danced to, but like.
But still. I need to know, honey. Why'd you pick that song?
Yeah. Comment number 1. Hopefully some sort of inside joke between the couple. But yeah, that's a weird choice. Comment number 2. Oh my fucking god, this takes the cake. My why did they pick that song would be at my friend's wedding where his song for the mother and son dance was Afternoon Delight.
You fucking lying. Oh my god. Do people not... Do they not listen to the lyric? Do they not read the lyrics? Like, listen, like...
Literally, Afternoon Delight song. Gonna find my baby. Gonna hold her tight. Gonna grab some Afternoon Delight. My motto's always been, when it's right, it's right.
Talking about banging, like...
Yeah. Thinking of yous, working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little Afternoon Delight.
Oh my gosh.
Rubbing sticks and stones together, make the sparks ignite. And the thought of rubbing you is getting so exciting. A mother and son.
I am horrified for the bride and... What?
What the fuck? I think that's even worse than before he cheated.
Yeah, I'm fucking speechless. What the fuck? Who the hell? I'm sorry. Like, I kind of want to see the wedding pictures now.
Oh, is the mom the born to be your mother, but dream to be your lover?
Oh, no. Okay, I don't want to see the pictures now. What the fuck?
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that's... Nah.
I think that comment takes the cake to the whole fucking thing.
For sure. Holy fuck. Because that was fucking creepy. Let's just dive right into Creepypasta, shall we?
Yeah, and this is going to be a long one.
Yeah. So the title is, If You See a Man Out on the Ice, Do Not Let Him Aboard.
Wasn't planning on it.
Yeah. Everyone knows the legend of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, especially if you reside within the Great Lakes region. The 729-foot, 13,632 gross ton Great Lakes bulk carrier was comparable to the Titanic. Hull number 301 was launched June 8, 1958 in River Rouge, Michigan. She would only last for a grand total of 17 years.
Why the fuck did you pick one that was in Michigan? Why the fuck?
It was fitting.
No!
Multiple bad omens occurred on the morning of her launch. 3 attempts of breaking a champagne bottle during the christening, a large wave that took out infrastructure below, and a heart attack resulting in a death. In hindsight, it seemed like she was cursed from the start. When she sank on November 10th, 1975, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald sank with all 29 passengers. Lake Superior holds a great many secrets, just as much a tomb as it is a body of water. Cold, deep, and dark. Even so, 3 underwater explorations were made, They occurred in 1989, 1994, and 1995. During the last exploration in 1995, with the help of a varied group, the Fitzgerald 200-pound bronze bell was recovered, as was another item, but it did not belong to the ship. The item that I am referring to, dear reader, is an article that was recovered from a smaller, unknown ship that had sunk the same day, a journal, the contents of which I shall recount for you here. My name, although it is unimportant to this post, is Evan Guthrie. I work at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum in Whitefish Point, Michigan. Although my position here is unclear, based on the number of odd jobs I have been assigned, you could call me a researcher or analyst of sorts. Since attendance has been dwindling over the last few years, I was tasked with digitizing the more interesting portions of our historical artifacts. I and all the people at GLSWM, hope that this should be enough to entice you to stop by. I would like to extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of Luther Blackburn, as well as the families of the rest of the crew of the SS Lily Marina. The journal that I'll be transcribing belonged to Blackburn and tells a story that even I can seldom comprehend. A tale of the fiercest winter storm and the man they found out on the ice. November 8th, 1975, Superior, Wisconsin. The air has a chill the likes of which I have never known. Even as my gloved hands grip the pen, my knuckles ache. There are many a good place to eat by the docks. The plate that is in front of me is full of bones and crumbs. Barely enough left for a mouse. The room I have rented was humble and small, just the thing I needed. I haven't had a good night's sleep in months, but last night I did. Maybe it was the way the air smelled of crisp, clean water, like snow was getting ready to fall at any moment. The flakes had already accumulated in shallow piles across the ground. Superior was known for its lake effect weather. Winter came faster here than the rest of the world. I didn't mind at all. In fact, it made me excited. It had been a long time since I had squeezed myself into the lower decks of the Laker. This time, I wouldn't be one of the grunts. I would be taking the role of ship medic. Being a medic was the only thing I seemed to be good at now. The Vietnam War was my shotgun style of learning, and I was quick on my feet. The Navy sent me on my merry way once I had served my time, and I was grateful. I had seen too much carnage, too much unnecessary deaths while serving. That's some shit you never want to see again, let alone talk about. Those memories will be kept for me alone. The captain, a salty man named Thurston, met me just before sundown. Apparently, things had not been so peaceful, even here in the U.S. Looters and pirates still roamed the waters, and I had to be wary. Nothing could be as bad as having to look a child and the barrel of a gun in the eye. As long as I didn't have to kill anyone or lay witness to the use of extreme torture, I was all right with just about anything. We would be leaving at sunup, and all I had to bring was myself. It sounded like an easy enough job to me. Before I shut my eyes tonight, I will look upon the land once more, surrendering myself to the void of a lake. The SS Lily Marina would be my lady for the next few days, and I could not wait. I hope the other members of the crew and I get along. It would be unfortunate otherwise. Once I return from my journey, I'll have to stop by and see my parents. I hope they'll forgive me for not visiting them first. L.J. Blackburn. Hey, Analyst Evan here. The first entry was short and sweet, a slice into the life of a nomadic ship medic. I was even fooled by how calm and peaceful it was. Upon further research, Luther Blackburn was a decorated soldier. He was awarded the Navy Cross and the Navy Unit Commendation. How cool is that? As you continue reading, please remember that this is one-for-one copy of the journal's pages. None of what you read is conjecture on my end, nor is it embellished. I will also warn you that some of the content may be considered horrific and should be tread lightly. Thanks again, and if you are in the area, please remember to stop by the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum. November 9th, 1975, Lake Superior. I would have never guessed my first day back on a ship would end so poorly. Such odd occurrences in such a short amount of time. I had awoken just before the sun came up, frost covering the meager window of my room. Packing up the few items I brought was a quick task, and soon I was off towards the docks. SS Lily Marina was a sight to behold, even though it was moored near the gigantic Fitzgerald. Most would have been drawn in by the sight of the larger ship, but the small beauty of the marina was more enticing to me. Captain Thurston greeted me merrily and introduced me to most of the crew. Only a handful of names stuck in my mind. Case, the ship cook, was a larger man with curly red hair. Richard, who was the captain's first mate, reeked of cigarettes and wore a blue stocking cap atop his head. A few of the other names were Wesley, Howard, Lyle, amongst the ones I couldn't remember. They seemed like a good crew, one that wouldn't have too many scuffles unless it revolved around a game of cards. I felt at home early off. The medical area of the ship was small, yet stocked with just about anything I could ever need. Unless there was an accident, I expected to be doling out meds for stomach aches. That was an easy enough job. I figured most of my time would be spent alone under the deck, most likely reading one of the books I had brought. My time being away for war kept me from a great many of my hobbies, classical literature being one of them. Peace by Gene Wolfe sat deep within my bag. I was almost comfortable when the commotion began, a ruckus of whoops and voices traveling throughout the ship. Pretty soon my name was called, and I was forced to the surface. My services were in need. Out of seemingly nowhere, the weather had started to change. Brisk waves and whipping wind had turned to large flakes of snow. In almost whiteout conditions, chunks of ice started to appear within the water, large enough that the captain had commanded for the lookout to give better instructions. We now had obstacles to dodge. It was during that time that something truly odd had happened. "There's a man in the water," the lookout called from his perch. "Man down! Man in the water!" Most of the crew had looked around wildly, wondering who had been stupid enough to fall from the ship. We were only hauling farming supplies. There was no reason to be out on the deck in such horrid conditions. It wasn't like we were a fishing vessel looking to bring up catches of crabs from below the choppy surface. It was not one of the crew who had fallen. They were all still squared away safely on the ship. The man in the water was strange, standing atop a large chunk of ice, still as a statue, sailing on it like a surfboard. "What are you waiting for? Let's bring them aboard," the captain's voice rang out. That was when my services were called for. Once the rescue mission commenced, the Edmund Fitzgerald disappeared into the distance. Our ship was last in the line of 3. We were the only ones who had the time to stop and help. When the man was pulled from the water, the crew was in shock. He was completely naked, skin paler than the winter scene around us. His hands and feet were starting to turn black, along with the other unfortunate appendages that hung from his body. Oh my god, fuck. He was also taller than most men I had seen, probably coming in at damn near 7 foot tall. Jesus Christ! What was he doing out there on the ice? Naked at that! I half yelled to the crew that carried him in their arms. They looked at each other and shook their heads. I was an idiot for asking them a question they weren't capable of answering. I took the lead towards the medical bay and beckoned them to follow me. The man's head lolled back as he was carried through the narrow metal pathways. In the brief glimpse I got of his face, I felt a strange sense of familiarity. It struck me as odd, the feeling. How could I have known this man? "Place him here," I said, waving my arm to the stretcher-like bed. It was covered in white crinkly paper. As the man was placed atop it, it buckled under his weight. I shouted at the men to bring me as many blankets as they could find before they ran off into the belly of the ship. Then we were alone. "Sir, can you hear me? What is your name?" I said, trying to shake their frigid shoulders. A small groan was all I got. Moving around the small room like a madman, I found any and everything that could warm the man up. Saline that had been warmed up was connected to an IV drip. Rubber hot packs were added to all of the arterial zones, in the armpits, between the legs, wrists, ankles, and neck. Once those were in place, I covered them in layer after layer of blankets. Then I sat down in my chair and prayed. There was a chance they were already dead. There was a chance that warming them up would not do anything to save them. But you're not dead until you're warm and dead. That is what my training has taught me. I clasped my hands together and leaned forward on my knees. Watching and waiting was all I could do for now. They had to have the will to pull themselves from the edge of death. After a few hours had passed, I made sure to replace the heating elements before checking the vitals of the patient once more. They seemed to be coming around, but were still not awake. A familiar grumble moved its way through my stomach. The smell of stew wafted its way through the closed door, causing my mouth to water. Looking over the patient one last time, I slipped out into the confusing maze of metal and made my way towards the kitchen. Case greeted me with a warm smile. His voice was calm and inviting as I entered the mess hall. In one pot he had beef stew, in another was what looked like a huge yellow cake. I smiled as I recognized the cornbread, a delicacy of the South, one of my favorite foods of my past. Squaring my shoulders, I walked up to the kind but imposing man. "Evening, Case. Could you get me a bowl and a slice?" I asked while eyeing the food. It smelled amazing. Was the stew made of other people that they brought on board?
I don't know.
Anything for the ship medic. If all hell breaks loose, we have to make sure you're on top of your game. Case smiled before turning around to face the stove. I heard the sounds of bowls and plates clinking together before I was presented with my food. As the boat rocked, the soup waffled back and forth with the ceramic. "Thank you, Case. I shall enjoy this meal." I took the food from him almost greedily. The stew went down fast. Too fast. I thought about asking for more, but then thought of the other crew members, not knowing if everyone else had gotten to eat. I decided against it, making sure I cleaned my bowl and plate. I returned them to the jolly cook. He took them with a curt thank you and sent me on my way. When I returned to the medical bay, my eyes widened to their fullest point. The bed that had been filled with the man from the ice was now empty. Blankets and hot water bottles littered the floor. The IV had been ripped out. The bloody cord also laid on the ground. I winced at the thought of the man tearing it from his flesh in a frenzy. They must have awoken and became scared from the unfamiliarity. Pulling myself from the room, I wandered the halls looking for any signs of life. That is when I noticed the trail of blood. It wasn't anything major, just a few drops here or there. I had to search carefully so as not to miss anything. Eventually, I noticed that the blood trail led towards where we were keeping our haul. A collection of dried soybeans and corn for farm usage, the equivalent of animal feed. That was when I heard the sound of crunching. It sounded like biting down on week-old stale bread that had been baked too long, or like rocks being slammed together. Crunch, 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 and then cough, cough, crunch. I saw that the door to the hold was ajar when it should have been closed. The trail of blood had ended at the opening, disappearing into the darkness. I felt my heartbeat quicken as I approached the cracked door. Reaching up an unsteady hand, I pushed, and the metal groaned beneath my touch. "Hello?" I whispered softly. I was scared, unsure of what sight waited for me behind the threshold. There it was again. Crunch, 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 cough. When I finally grew the courage to peek inside, I saw something I could never unsee. The man from the ice had his back to me. His naked body, shades of white and purple, was squatting down in front of an open bag of feed. Using both hands interchangeably, he shoveled heaping handfuls of dried soybeans into his open mouth. The man tried to chew and swallow, but his bloated cheeks spared no room. He could barely even close his jaw. His mouth was so full. Then I watched as he projectile vomited whole kernels of soybean back onto the floor. I was disgusted and distraught. "Please, stop what you're doing. This is not meant to be eaten." The man stopped what he was doing and turned to face me. With eyes as wide and as sad as a child's, the man's mouth fell open. Out of his slack jaw fell tons of seeds covered in strings of saliva. Fucking gross. I stifled a gag and pushed forward into the room. Slowly the man stood up from his crouch. As he reached his full height, I felt a shiver pass through my body. His tall and slender frame felt imposing. It felt like when I was a child standing in front of a scarecrow on my grandfather's farm. Something horrific and just a step shy from being human. But this man was human and needed my help. Please come back to the medical bay with me. If you are hungry, let me fetch you some food. You are unwell and need to be treated. I pointed at the man's hands and feet. With how black they were, I was sure necrosis had already started to set in. There wasn't much I could do about the ruined product, but that wasn't really my issue. What I needed to deal with was the health of my patient. I needed to keep my oath to do no harm. Finally, the man moved towards me, and I led him out of the room. I am hungry, the man finally choked out when we made it back to the med bay. I was surprised by his voice. It sounded guttural and forced. Do not worry. As soon as we have you settled, I will get you some food. I made do on my promise. As soon as the IV was back in his arm, I told the man I would be back and headed for Case. After quickly explaining the situation, Case told me to head back to the room and he would follow behind with bowls of stew. I thanked him many times before leaving the kitchen. Sitting alone in the room with the man while we waited for Case felt like torture. Over and over again, he repeated that he was hungry. The same tone and cadence every time, sounding like a broken record. 2 orders of stew coming up, Case said as he entered the room. Oh, Case, thank you. I shot out of my seat and went to help the man. The man from the ice bolted upright in the bed, towering over us, even when sitting down. He held out his frostbitten hands greedily and took one of the bowls. Without the use of a spoon, he upturned the bowl and drank it down in big gulps. The man ate so fast that some of the thick stew broth trailed down either cheek, spilling onto his bare chest. What were you doing out on the ice? I finally asked the man. Hungry. Waiting, he responded between gulps. Why were you waiting out there? I asked him, eyebrows cocked in curiosity. Waiting for food, he answered. I furrowed my brow and pondered what that meant. If he had said he was waiting for help, that would have made more sense. Even so, it didn't explain how he had gotten atop the ice or why he was naked. I thought of drugs or some sick punishment, but nothing made sense. Looking over at Case, he too wore a look of confusion. The man took the second bowl and drank that one just as greedily. I've never seen a man eat my food with such vigor, Case said, almost chuckling. Neither have I answered back. It truly was a sight to behold. When the man was done, he set down the bowl on a small table and drew his hand across his mouth. Once the mess had been wiped, he licked the back of his hand, not wanting to waste a drop. I felt a small shiver pass through me as I looked at the man's face again. He looked so familiar. It was like a word on the tip of my tongue that kept escaping me. I felt rage start to fill me as I racked my brain. My own memory was intensely frustrating, age and trauma punching holes in it. Do you have a name? I asked the man. Lauren, was all the man said in response. He still licked at the back of his hand like a cat having a bath. Are you still hungry, Lauren? Case asked, chuckling. Hungry, Lauren replied. He sounded like a robot, or like he was speaking while inhaling. I'll run back to the kitchen and get you some more food. As Case turned on his heel, I sat back down in my chair and reached for my book. As I held it open in my lap, I tried to pretend I was reading. All the while, I was watching Lauren with my peripheral. He had finally stopped licking his hand, but traded it for something else. He had started to chew on his lips numbly, peeling off the dead skin that had grown on his lips before chewing and swallowing.
Gross.
I don't like this story. Then he bit down harder. I heard the sickening pop of teeth through skin. Oh, fuck, I said, jumping up from the chair. I hadn't expected him to do something so extreme. I screamed for him to stop, reaching for his arm as he struggled. He tried to keep me away, further biting into the skin around his mouth. He tore his own lips with a sickening sound, blood springing to the surface. I felt my stomach churn as I struggled to get him to stop. That was when Case burst through the door, dropping the stew at his feet. Hold him while I prepare the sedative, I yelled at Case. I flitted around the room like a butterfly on cocaine, searching for the syringe. Once I had found it, I pierced Lauren's IV and depressed the plunger, injecting the medicine straight into his veins. Pretty soon, the struggling and the biting stopped. I looked down at the horror below me. Lauren's face was smiling, even though he was out cold. Not because he wanted to either. In the short amount of time that had passed, he had managed to tear off both the top and bottom lip. Gums and teeth exposed in a haunting and bloody smile. Oh, fuck.
I think I'm gonna throw up. This isn't scary. This is fucking gross.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Case started to heave as I pushed him out of the room. I didn't want him puking on the floor, and the best way was to get him out of sight of Lauren. What the fuck was that? Case screamed, gripping me by the shoulders. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. He just kept saying he was hungry, I cried. My heart felt like it was going to burst out of my chest. My lungs lodged in my throat. My hands shook by my sides, not wanting to step back into that room. But I needed to. I needed to keep watch in case Lauren woke up again. I was utterly terrified, but needed to continue my role as medic. I am staying far away from here. That was fucked up. Case shook his head as he walked away. I wanted to beg him to stay, but knew that I shouldn't. Case signed up to cook, not to witness a man eat his own face. That was my job, and mine alone. As I write this, the memory of Lauren's face before the harrowing event flashed through my mind once again. This time it was paired with an image of a wanted poster and a full name. Lauren Anderson, wanted for looting and piracy. He was labeled as one of the greediest bastards to ever sail on Superior's waters. Even though I finally remembered who he was, it did me no good. I still had to treat him just the same. Tonight I will sleep in the room next to the med bay with one eye open, for I am scared of what is to come if he awakes from his slumber. Hopefully tomorrow is a better day. L.J. Blackburn. Fucking gross. I don't know if I want to do anymore. What else is he gonna eat? I actually.
Yeah, my stomach is fucking turning.
Hello all, Evan here again. As we get into our last entry, I implore you to read this passage on an empty stomach, for it is horrific.
No. No.
Although the journal entry is one of the most interesting things I've ever read, it gave me nightmares. I do hope that this tale of the thing that brings the winter, plagued by greed, inspires you to come and visit us. We will have the journal on full display for you to study at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum. We hope to see you soon.
Is this like actually?
I don't know. Oh, shit. Okay. November 10th, 1975. Lake Superior. I was awoken to the sounds of frantic voices and pounding on my door. Richard was screaming my name and wailing his fists against the metal. I shot out of bed and went to answer as Richard snaked himself inside and shut the door behind me. He was standing there, clutching one of his arms, which was bleeding profusely. It looked like his hand was dangling from a thread, wet bones showing through the fat and viscera. Richard, what happened? I half screamed. That thing fucking bit me, he screamed back, clutching his wounded limb to his chest. Without a second thought, I ripped the belt from my pants and affixed it just below his elbow. Quickly, the blood slowed as it clamped down on the artery. What was a solid flow turned to a drip here or there. Richard was grateful for my fast thinking. His skin was already starting to turn gray from the blood loss. What thing? I asked him. That fucking monster that we pulled from the ice. I know it looks like a man, but it is not a man. Men do not run around on all fours tearing flesh from the bones with their teeth. Richard's voice hissed out as he groaned from the pain. What do you mean? I asked. What the fuck do you mean? I meant what I fucking said. Are you slow?
That's the right kind of...
Yeah. This time he hissed in annoyance at my question. Truly, though, even with what I had witnessed the night before, it was hard to believe. Stay here. I will check next door and make sure the coast is clear. If it is, Follow me into the med bay, and I will patch you up as best as I can. If what you say is true, then I need to sedate Lauren as fast as possible." "It has a fucking name? And it's Lauren?" Richard practically spat before laughing manically. "You shouldn't bother sedating him. He should be shot on sight." "That is a bit of an extreme," I sighed, giving him a sideways glance. "Not if you've seen what I've seen. He didn't bite you. He bit me and others. I'm not so sure they fared as well as I did." Richard was starting to look more gray as the time passed. I figured that I needed to hurry and exited the room, making sure to close the door behind me. Inside of the medical bay, I saw the remnants of the events from the night before. Blood and medical equipment strewn about the room. Lauren was nowhere to be seen, and I was grateful. Grabbing all of the sedatives and gauze I could find, I returned to my room and patched Richard's wounds as best as I could for the time being. That was when another scream tore through the air. It echoed and stretched throughout the belly of the ship. The metal network of pathways creating a haunting symphony of pain. I knew it was stupid of me, but I had to do what I could do to help. Nothing good would come of me barricading myself inside of the med bay. Nothing good would come from hiding. I needed to steel my resolve and do what I could do to help. That was my job, after all. When I passed by the kitchen, my heart fell into my stomach. Chunks of skin with curly red hair littered the ground. Fragments of bone crunched underfoot as I unintentionally stepped upon them. I felt bile rise in my throat as I took in the scene before me. The kitchen and mess hall were truly a mess. Blood, skin, organ, and bone were laid upon the floor like a scattering of animal bait. Further into the kitchen, just behind the counter, was Chase's torn body. His abdominal cavity had been opened up. Ribs broke through and pointed at odd angles. His skin was torn and jagged, body covered in large bite marks. Had we not been in a boat, miles from any sort of land, I would have thought a bear had come aboard and mauled the jolly cook. His face and most of his scalp were missing. The whites of his eyes and teeth glittered like jewels under the light. I stifled a cry as I pressed 2 fingers to his throat. The man was obviously dead, but a part of me had to check anyways. Time of death, 10:22 a.m. I looked at the watch on my wrist and stepped back from the horrific sight. It took everything within me not to vomit. Even during my tours in Vietnam, this was by far the worst thing I had ever seen. It was like somebody had planted a bomb deep within Case's ribcage before setting it off. Another scream alerted me that there was no time to be standing around. I tore through the kitchen, slipping slightly on a wet piece of flesh. I caught myself on the counter and steadied my feet before trying to leave once more. Using the scream like a bat with echolocation, I made my way to the upper levels of the boat. Before too long, I heard the crack of gunfire tearing through the air. Then 2 more shots popped off before I was thrown into an uncomfortable silence. Sitting upon the stairs to the deck was Captain Thurston. He was bloody and breathing hard, missing half of one leg and a few large chunks of his left arm and shoulder. The captain looked at me with sorrow in his eyes, as if he had done something wrong. Panting as I ran up to him, I reached out a hand that he swatted away. "Do not worry about me, Luther. Take this." Thurston handed me a revolver. Its weight was heavy in my shaking hand. "Sir, I don't understand what is going on," I practically cried. "You have to kill it, and if you can't, you have to sink the ship." The captain gripped my arm tightly with his one good hand. He stared into my eyes with a fierceness I have never known. "Sink the ship?" I questioned. "It can't be allowed to make it back to land," was all he said before passing out. I had no time to tend to his wounds and held an unfamiliar gun in my hand. Using guns wasn't necessarily something I had done frequently, even while in the Navy. At least I knew to pull back the hammer before firing. That much was true. Once again, I stilled my resolve and kept pushing through. Another scream tore through the silence, this one different from the rest. This was not a scream of pain. It was a guttural wail based in insatiable hunger. The man who had eaten his own face was leaving a trail of bodies with bites taken out. That much was clear to me. Based on everything I had seen, my oath to do no harm was thrown out the window. Lauren had to be put down like a rabid dog, and if not, we were to go down with it. My feet thundered up the metal staircase as I finally made my way onto the deck. Lauren's naked body had transformed into something that only a nightmare could conjure. His pale face stretched and pulled over bones that were way too large to be contained. His height had grown even more immense, most likely almost reaching 8 foot tall. His bared teeth and lipless face were a grotesque sight. Yellowed eyes stared back at me from across the way as he, or it, turned to face me. As if on instinct, I held up the gun and aimed it at his head. Depressing the trigger, a loud bang rang out through the sky. As the shot rang out, Lauren took off like it was the start of a race, tearing across the deck on all fours. I watched as he galloped through the large snowflakes. I felt them melt as they made contact with my bare skin, burning slightly. The shot had missed. As I cocked back the hammer for the second time, Lauren grew even closer. This time, the shot landed, hitting him right between the eyes. Even so, he kept running. "Keep him on the deck. Keep him in sight," Richard's voice called out. I couldn't see him, but I could hear him loud and clear. "What are you going to do?" I yelled back, doing what I could to stay out of the monster's path. "I'm going to ram us into those rocks to starboard," Richard said. That was when Lauren changed direction, steering himself halfway away from me. At first, I was grateful to be out of harm's way until I realized where he was going. Lauren was headed to Richard, and there was no way to stop him. Even as I shot him a second and third time, Lauren did not falter. He kept galloping on all fours, looking more animal than human. I didn't make it in time. I wasn't able to stop Lauren. I wasn't able to save Richard. Hell, I wasn't able to save anyone. All I could do was shut the door to the room they were in and lock it. As I finished writing this entry, I shall seal this journal away into my waterproof oilskin. The rocks are coming, and they are... Wait, what? What was that? He's gonna put it in his skin?
Waterproof oilskin? I don't know what that...
The rocks are coming, and they are coming fast. I am the last man alive on the SS Lily Marina, and I will go down with this ship. If by chance this somehow makes it back to land, and if you ever see a naked man out on the ice, do not help them. Lake Superior is insatiable, and I am merely the next to temporarily quell her hunger. Check that on Never Going To.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's a nightmare. I kind of wonder, is that a real story? Like, a real, like, urban legend type thing?
Yeah, I don't... What?
I kind of wish it was actually spooky, not like that.
That's like...
I have goosebumps, but it's not because of that. It's because, it's not because it was, like, spooky. It's like...
I want to throw up.
Right. What the fuck, man?
You picked that one.
I did no such thing.
That one's on you. Oh, my stomach is doing flips.
Rolling?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't eat before we started.
Yeah. I have a couple bags of chips behind me that I was planning on eating, but I'm not. Oh, man. And you're welcome. With that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Girls Gone Curious Podcast. Until next time.